touched down in Beijing today, where it immediately went to a giant party. More than 5,000 people were invited to the ceremony in Tiananmen Square, and security was tight. Once the show was over, China's president got down to business, pledging the Beijing Games will be green, high-tech, and for the people. And then the torch was off again on its mission to whip up Olympic fever. The first stop on its world tour is Kazakhstan. 19 other countries are also on the itinerary, with visits scheduled to such cities as Paris, London, and San Francisco. Plenty of opportunity for protesters to do just what they did today here in Canada and around the world, gather together to denounce China for its treatment of Tibet. Lori Graham has the latest.
They took their message to the street.
To tell the world that what China is doing to Tibetans in Tibet.
They held up mock tombstones for those they say were killed in Tibet after violent clashes with Chinese security forces earlier this month. Across the country, Tibetan activists came forward. The numbers varied from city to city, but their message was the same. Not all protests around the world were peaceful. In Nepal, some Tibetans were beaten, nearly 300 arrested as they tried to push past police in front of a Chinese embassy. And there were protests in Australia, too, where activists believe they have a golden opportunity. The Prime Minister is leaving for China in 2 weeks, and they want him to carry their concerns about China's human rights record.
This may be a big day of protest, but there have been smaller rallies and demonstrations almost daily since the violent crackdown in Tibet. Organizers say this is just the beginning.
One of the key people behind the worldwide movement to support Tibet is Canadian Freya Putt. She's been trying to draw attention to the situation there for a decade. And with the Beijing Games approaching, she says the timing has never been better.
China isn't going to move without a lot of concern voiced from all over the globe, and having it come from one country isn't enough. It needs to come from everywhere.
And that includes Canada, where about 6,000 Tibetans now live and actively work with others around the world to keep up the pressure on China.
We're going to ratchet it up a step or two when the games actually begin.
Until what? Until you get what?
Until, Tibet gets, the situation in Tibet gets resolved peacefully.
The ultimate goal of the protesters is to force China to give Tibetans far more control over their culture and destiny. Lori Graham, CBC News, Toronto.